Hey everybody, it's Michael. It's August 6th, 2023. It's a Sunday. I'm sitting here in my room and I'm drinking coffee from this Christmas mug. I don't know why I drink out of a Christmas mug. I actually just really like this mug. I like the shape of it. I like that it's Christmas. I personally am not a huge fan of Christmas. I don't know why. It's just I think because I've been single for many, many, many years, and uh, I haven't. I mean, I'm close to my family, but they all just moved away, so I'm just not a big fan of the holidays. But oddly enough, I like Christmas music. It seems to cheer me up. I think because I grew up being a singer. I sang a lot in like theater and show choir and stuff, and so we always did a lot of traditional Christmas music, and I really like Christmas music. In fact, I noticed that when I'm sad, I have a tendency to hum Christmas music because it cheers me up. So I don't know, maybe this is a subconscious thing. But I am sitting here on this Sunday morning drinking my coffee. Um, and I don't know, I woke up this morning with a lot of anxiety. And I know it's not like I'm just the only one that's prone to that. I feel like a lot of Americans, especially this year, are prone to wake up with anxiety. So maybe that's why I think to mention it. But I don't know. I was doing really good with work, and then I went on vacation. My friend and I went to New Orleans, and then I was helping my dad. My dad moved back to the Midwest to live closer to my sister, and I was helping him move. And then since I got back, work has just been slow. Again, I mean, I know we're in the middle of a strike, and that's very important. So I know that the stakes are bigger, which is why we're striking. It's just, I guess this morning I just woke up realizing, just what sort of like position we're in right now. And so allow me a moment to vent. I'm just frustrated because it shouldn't have to get to this point. Like, we shouldn't have to strike, and it shouldn't have to last this long. And it's just frustrating because, like, we in the film industry, we work really long hours. We work a lot. And for us to have to work so many hours and create such amazing art that you guys love and consume, and for us to still, you know, barely make a living wage, considering the fact that we work such long hours, I guess it's just sort of frustrating. And it's maddening because to me, it shouldn't be that way. I mean, entertainment's always going to be here. I went to the movies last weekend, and when I went and saw Barbie, I was a couple weeks late seeing it, but I went and saw, I think either last week and a weekend before last, and like the theater was packed, like unbelievably packed. So people want entertainment. So I guess I'm just frustrated that like it's come to this point where it has to be a battle and the way they have to strike. But it's so important for us to strike. So I just don't know how long it's gonna last. But I needed to vent, so I appreciate that. But the good thing is I have, I do work a little bit this week. So, but I do have this time where I can write. I'm lucky that I like to stay creative. I do like photography as well, and I do have a couple photo shoots set up. But at least I can sit at home and write. And I have a really great writing partner, my friend Brantley. And I like that I have such a creative outlet that I can at least sit at home and take this time to finish up scripts because, like I said, I was filming a lot, and so it was really hard to spend time writing. So I'm at least grateful for that. And my writing partner Brantley, we're so synergistic when it comes to writing. Our styles are very, very, very similar, and it makes writing with him easy. And it's funny because I'll read scripts sometimes. Like if I go back and rewriting, and I'm like, oh, did I write that? Did he write that? Just because our styles are so similar. And it's great because we're not even in the same room. We just do it all like we just call each other, or we'll share a document. We just write on it together. So we have a very unique way of working together. I know it probably doesn't work for everybody, but it works for us. Gosh, we've been writing together for maybe like 3 or 4 years. It was definitely like a couple years before the pandemic, so it's got to be 5 years now. And we've probably written nine, 10 scripts together in all genres. We've written Christmas movies, and we've written horror movies, and we've written dramas, comedies. We're working on a gay rom-com now, which is a lot of fun. So, I mean, we both really like horror, but we also just really love writing. So, it is kind of cool that now that there's this downtime, we can at least find a way to stay creative. I'm also lucky that I get to do photography. So, um, and the photography thing, I don't know if I mentioned it, but that was a random thing that I picked up during the pandemic. I always tell people this. And it's interesting because I travel a lot for work. I was traveling a lot back in 2019. And at the end of 2019, I was like, man, I keep going to all these beautiful places. And I was taking pictures on my cell phone and they weren't as good. And so I was like, oh, fine. I'll just buy a nice low end camera and I'll go and I'll take pictures when I travel. And so my camera came in right at the beginning of 2020. And I had taken a trip to Vegas and I had a trip planned to Mazatlan with my roommate because we both have February birthdays. And so I was taking photos when I was traveling. And then right when we came back from Mazatlan, we kept hearing about this COVID thing. And then we shut down, as everybody knows. And so one of the things that I was doing during the pandemic to stay safe but creative is besides writing, I was doing photography. And I would go out and just take my camera and I would go places like I'd go to the beach or I'd, find a nice hiking trail. That year in 2020, we had the super bloom because I live in LA. We had the super bloom. And then that was also right after that, we had the bioluminescence. There's this thing, I want to say it happens from like parts of California all the way down to Mexico, but there's this bioluminescence organisms in our sea. And it's the most amazing thing. So as the waves crash, they have like this sort of like bright blue hue, like it's neon. I had seen it only one other time before, but it was just so fascinating. And that in itself is an interesting story because I just remember so vividly, like, at least here in LA, when we shut down, it felt so apocalyptic because it was in March. I think it was raining that week. It was Friday the 13th. It was a full moon. I feel like all of this happened at one time. And it felt so apocalyptic. And so then to be able to go see like the amazing super bloom and this bioluminescence phenomenon, which are both, they don't happen every year. And the bioluminescence is very, very infrequent. So for them to happen at the same time during this, it was like this sort of weird, beautiful thing in like this chaotic time, right? And so photography for me was sort of that same where I could just go and take pictures. I wasn't good right away. I was just taking photos. And then my friend Candace was like, I want photos taken. And I was like, nah, I'm not really a photographer. And she's like, well, I just want photos and there's nothing going on and you need to learn to use your camera. So let's just go take photos. And taking photos during the pandemic was great because I could wear a mask and the other person didn't have to. And at least because I'm shooting with them on a longer lens, I didn't have to get that close. So it was a good way to stay safe and be creative. And then it was just interesting because I took pictures of my friend Jake because he was a professional model and I wanted to practice shooting with people. And he liked our photos and submitted them to a magazine called Volant, I think is what it's called. And I think they're out of Europe. And they ended up publishing our photos. And I was like, I didn't even realize, like it never dawned on me that I could have photos published. It just didn't even, because I wasn't trying to be a photographer. And he had mentioned this website called Caviar where you could sort of submit to people. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then it was crazy. I did a couple of photo shoots I did one for Fila Tennis that was sponsored. But then I also was just shooting with people and they were getting published in magazines and it was crazy. And I was like, this is a thing I could do. And so I say all that to say that I love that at least during this difficult time, I am finding ways to stay creative. And so when the strike is finally settled and we can move forward filming, I'd love to have like a stack of scripts that I could start sending out to people. That'd be kind of cool. But also that I'll have a ton of photos still, that I can publish. Try to get published as much as I can. So, and magazines actually reach out to me now too, which is kind of nice. I've never had that before. So yeah, I'm just rambling. because I think my coffee's kicking in. But I am trying to tell myself that this isn't gonna last forever. It's just one sort of blip in the map. I just I really, really wanted this year to be amazing because we've been coming off the pandemic, and it was just like to lose my mother, and then, to have my family move away, and then to have the strike. Like, I just remember all of us just writing off 2020 as if it never happened. And somehow I feel like 2023 is the year that's even like the same. Like, I just want to write it off. It's only August. So, but anyways, I'm just yammering. I hope you have a great Sunday. Thank you for listening to me vent. We're going to survive. I think we're all going to survive. It's just, you got to take it a day at a time, if that's one thing I've learned. So anyways, I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.